Today we're going to make drinking glasses out of some whiskey and bourbon bottles from the High West Distillery. Without water, my tools would not work well, but more importantly, water captures most of the harmful glass dust that could otherwise lead to silicosis. Water is maybe the most important safety gear for this technique. By the time I finish cutting, grinding, and polishing 9 glasses, I will have turned more than 1 inch of bottle length into hazardous glass dust. I'm using a professional wet tile saw here because it's fast and convenient, but I've achieved the exact same results with the least expensive wet tile saw I could find. The cheaper saws are messier though and require some adaptive techniques. I've linked to one of my older videos in the description below that shares more details. I'm also working on a new video that is entirely focused on how to get the most out of a basic wet tile saw by using 3D printed parts. This is an affordable 350 watt pottery wheel I bought on Amazon. I drilled holes in the wheel for 2 M4 socket head cap screws that are used to secure 3 different 3D printed jigs that I designed, then lined with self-adhesive velcro. To those jigs, I attach velcro-backed diamond polishing pads that I cut to be more flexible in grits of 400, 800, 1500, and 3000. I've also added a cost-effective aquarium pump and some flexible coolant hose to supply water for safety. I grind each bottle 12 times at about 10 to 20 seconds per grind. That's 3 different profiles across 4 different grits. The 400 grit is the roughest. It requires the most time, so I'll show you one of each profile at that grit in real time to give you a sense of how long it actually takes. I'll speed up the rest though because it's repetitive and I don't want to bore you. Previously, I used flat metal 400 grit diamond coated lapidary grinding discs for the initial flattening of the rim, but now I only use these polishing pads. The pads cut faster, do not clog, and last forever. I have ground and polished hundreds of bottles and I'm still on my very first set. This jig is used to quickly and consistently form the outside edge of the rim, which ends up being a slightly rounded 45-degree bevel. Once again, I'm sharing the first 400 grit grind in real time, then speeding up the rest. This jig shapes the inside edge to a slightly concave 45-degree bevel, and this will be the last real-time grind before the rest of the grinding and polishing is all shared at high speed. Here, I'm sharing the last bottle being polished with a 3000 grit pad. This is far quieter than the previous grits, and I can't imagine it ever wearing out. This final step leaves a crystal clear finish that is as smooth or smoother than the rest of the original bottle surfaces. All told, each glass takes less than 5 minutes to grind and polish. I am filling the glasses with hot water because it softens the label glue. This makes the labels easier to pull off in one piece. These labels are beautiful, and I wish I could keep them. But in my house, if it can't go in the dishwasher, it doesn't stay long. These labels would not even survive hand washing. If you take a look at the bottle on the left, you can see that the labels started to fall apart during the grinding and polishing stages. I do not yet have a great solution for glue removal, but I experienced some amazing results with a vinegar soak recently when I needed to clean years of dried wood glue off my bar clamps. I believe I'll be giving that a try next time. I think I've made peeling the labels about as efficient as I can. There's no scraping or tearing and swearing, and they all come off in one piece, which is pretty satisfying. This final step is the opposite of satisfying. I'm using Goo Gone to wipe away the rest of the glue from the labels. It helps if the glue is warmed, but it's still a smeary, labor-intensive slog. For each glass, it takes about the same amount of time to remove the remaining glue as it does for all of the previous steps combined. The effort required feels lopsided. 5 minutes of cutting and grinding is fun, and it takes a bottle 100% of the way to becoming a drinking glass. The same amount of time with Goo Gone and elbow grease is just cleaning stubbornly dirty dishes. I'm really hoping the vinegar thing works out next time. Let's take a moment to admire the base material for this project. I have no affiliation with the High West Distillery, but I do really like their bottles. I have a friend that saves them for me, and I'm grateful because they are some of my favorite bottles to work with. The walls are thick, there are bubbles trapped throughout, and the outside surface undulates like water frozen in motion. The bases are chunky and irregular, and each one says Park City, Utah in raised letters. The proportions of the finished glasses are well balanced. They're comfortable to hold, accommodate 16 ounces of liquid refreshment, and they look just right in terms of height and width. Now I have a set of 9 drinking glasses for my house that are interesting and beautiful and were a lot of fun to make. It didn't take very long either. Cutting, grinding, polishing, and removing the labels all went very quickly, and I couldn't be happier with the results. I think they look great. Removing the glue that holds the labels on was a different story. That was no fun at all. That being said, I've got some ideas about how to make that go more quickly in the future, so stay tuned if you'd like to hear more about that. I hope you found this interesting and maybe even useful, and if you think I've earned it, I hope you'll consider subscribing to my channel and maybe clicking the bell icon to be notified when I upload new content. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.